I gritted my teeth. That was all that remained of Valentine's Day. I was alone, and she had cheated on me. Just one night, right? Dee and the others repeated this, trying to talk me out of killing myself. After all, what is one night? Ha! Who made that rule? Are one-night stands okay if the other person is famous enough? And who decides who's famous enough? The cheater, of course. Well, maybe their friends too. The spouse doesn't get a say. Well, screw them all. On the way home, I was boiling with rage. What a disaster. Not just Valentine's Day and the weekend, but my whole life. One snap of the fingers and our whole life was ruined. She didn't even look at me, didn't say a word. Judging by what Dee said, she clearly wasn't thinking about the kids. They'll never know. Yeah, right. It didn't matter. No matter how I felt or how it would affect the children, Linda was out of our lives. Pick up the kids? Probably best. So I called Mrs. Porter and picked up 2 sleeping, unsuspecting children who knew nothing about their mother's chili. On the way home, I called my parents to get their opinion. Had I done the wrong thing? Was it, as Dee claimed, just a reaction of my fragile male ego? Mom was a woman who had been married for decades. What would she say? What? Is April Fool's Day a month early? She pretended to laugh. Unfortunately not, Mom. She didn't even look my way. She just walked off with some local hunk to get robbed and raped. That usual slut. All of Mom's plans to lay her sweet head on her pillow and get some sleep were blown away by the mushroom cloud of her nuclear explosion. Calvin, wake up! We're going to Jim and Linda's now. Get out of bed and get dressed. Don't worry, dear. Her jet of fire turned in my direction. We'll be there in an hour to look after the kids. Okay. That was encouraging. I wasn't the only one shocked by Linda's shameless betrayal. Then I called her parents, not expecting much support. Blood is thicker than water, as they say. Her mother answered with concern. Is everything okay? Why are you calling so late? No, Mom. Carefully choosing my words, I told her what had happened and ended by saying that I had taken the children. All I heard was stunned silence. Hello? I said, thinking maybe the line had gone dead. Taking a deep breath, she replied in a subdued voice. Are you sure this isn't some kind of misunderstanding? Mom, you have no idea how much I want this to be true. But this has been going on for 2 hours. She's not answering her phone, she's not home, but her car is here. Her best friend tried to calm me down, saying she's just spending the night at his place. After my dad's hero has his fun with Linda all night, he'll supposedly bring her home tomorrow. Or if she wears him out, he'll probably call her an Uber. I don't know. She didn't say. I'm new to this kind of thing. If something happened to our children, an accident or some kind of emergency, there's nothing we can do. We have no way of contacting her. A mother's heart. I don't know what to say. Her mother's voice was full of defeat and disappointment. We didn't raise our daughter to get involved in this kind of nonsense. Excuse my French. Is there anything we can do? Thanks, Mom. It would be great if you could be here tomorrow when she gets back. From what Dee said, Linda doesn't think she did anything wrong, and I think she'll blame it all on my fragile male ego. Your presence and Dad's, as representatives of decency and common sense, would be very welcome. Also, she'll need a place to stay when I kick her out of the house, so if you could take her in, that would be great. What time? I have no idea. She left without even looking at me. All I know is what her accomplice told me. Knowing what they do in the evenings, I would guess that they will probably have their morning session before brunch, so I don't expect her back before 10, say. My parents are already on their way to be with the children if things get messy before then. All right, son. We're very sorry. We'll be there after breakfast. My God, what a mess. When I got home, my parents were already there, and my father helped me put Emma and Tommy to bed. The adults sat down in the living room to relax after the ordeal. Would you like a drink? I asked. Waving my hand away, my father replied sternly, Son, alcohol has many beneficial properties, but improving mental performance is not one of them. We need a clear head right now. I leaned back in my chair. You're right. Coffee? I don't know about you, said my mother, but I'm tired. Tomorrow will be a hard day. Let's try to get some sleep while we can. The next morning, I woke up, washed, took a shower, and put on a sweater and jeans. It was sunny outside, as if even the weather was happy that February was finally over. Downstairs, my mother was feeding the children pancakes with bacon, and they were laughing and playing as if they had no worries. I shook my head. If it weren't for their cruel and self-assured mother, they would have no future. Shortly after 10, Linda's parents arrived, shaking their heads. Still no news? Her mother asked. Do you want to look at her car to see if... No, son. We believe you. We've tried calling her several times, but her phone is obviously off. I just can't believe our daughter could... Neither can we, said Mom, walking over and hugging Linda's mother. We know Linda. At least, we knew Linda last week. She would never do anything like this. Dad, can Marie and Jay come over to play? Emma asked. An idea popped into my head. Why don't you call them and ask if they can come over to play PlayStation? Better that they not witness a possible argument. A few minutes later, they ran across the cul-de-sac to join their friends and spend their Saturday in innocent fun. The last time, I sighed. Their lives would never be the same. Oh, what had Linda destroyed with her selfish deception? I brewed some fresh coffee. While the coffee maker gurgled and hissed, a loud roar announced the arrival of that jerk. We all looked out the window. A classic red Ferrari Daytona convertible pulled up to the house. In such cold weather, he must have turned the heater on full blast. All so that the whole world could see the hero of our town and his latest conquest. Conquest? No, she threw herself at him. So, if anyone is to blame for the impending disaster, it's her. Linda's hair blew in the wind, and her face glowed with adoration as she turned to Prick, leaned in and kissed him long and passionately. It was impossible not to notice their heated kiss as her hand caressed his cheek. Simon, Linda's father, couldn't hold back. Lavalier was his hero, and seeing his daughter shamelessly devour him in public was too much for him. He yanked open the door and rushed to the driver's side. Let go of my daughter, you piece of shit. She's married. Don't you have any manners? Let her go, old man. Who are you? Meanwhile, I walked over to the passenger door closest to our front door. That's her father, asshole. Linda, does this turn you on? The way your asshole boyfriend treats your father? Very gentlemanly, huh? Oh, right, I forgot. You don't know what a gentleman is. All you care about is him. Am I right? Linda turned pale. She stared wide-eyed at her father, then at the house and at our mothers, who stood with their mouths open. Her mouth opened and closed, but no sound came out. Lavalier opened the door to get out, probably to intimidate Linda's father with his tall stature and muscular build. However, as soon as he stepped onto the ground, Linda's father opened the huge steel door of the Ferrari wide and slammed it shut with force. A loud crack, followed by the sound of Bastard's broken tibia, was followed by a cry of pain. He fell back into the car and began to curse so profusely that even the roughest sailor would have sounded like a nun in a choir. Linda, torn between her imaginary lover, her father, and her husband, burst into tears, opened the door, and got out of the car. She came over to hug me, but I stepped back and held out my hand. I don't want kisses from a traitor. Meanwhile, the jerk was moaning and whining like a 7-year-old child. Call an ambulance. I can't drive. I think I broke my leg. You have a phone, you idiot. Call yourself, Linda's father said mockingly. What's the address? Oh, right. You slept with a woman and don't even know her address. What a hero. I was surprised by Simon's language. He had always been a strict and reserved father. Shut up, old man. Call the damn ambulance. Obviously, this spoiled brat was used to ordering his subordinates to do his dirty work for him. "Young man," Simon replied with a smirk, "you can sit here and freeze, we don't care." Linda reached for the phone, but I stopped her. "Go to hell, you traitorous bitch. He just insulted your father again. Whose side are you on? It's time to show your true colors. He's a grown man and a millionaire. If he's old enough to steal other men's wives, he's old enough to make a phone call. You have a choice. Support this worthless piece of trash or your father and husband. Which will you choose?" Torn apart, Linda sobbed like a little girl and put down the phone. She turned to Jerk. "Thank you for a lovely evening, Mark, but I think it's time you left." At that moment, Emma and Tommy came running across the street. "Mommy, Mommy!" They hugged her legs and waist. "Where were you?" Before I could stop myself, I blurted out, "Mommy loves that man more, so she spent the night with him. She came back to get her things before she left." There was a chorus of indignant cries. "No! Mom! Tell him it's not true!" Tommy wailed. Little Emma ran to the driver's door and started pounding her fist on Jerk's shoulder. "Go away! Leave my mom alone, you evil man!" Clearly still in pain, Jerk took the phone away from his ear and barked at Emma. "Shut up, you little brat! Can't you see I'm on the phone?" In the blink of an eye, Linda's father, who had been standing on the other side of the car, ran over to them. "What did you say?" He knocked the phone out of Jerk's ear and threw it onto the road. Sometimes driving a convertible isn't the best idea. Jerky opened the door to retrieve the phone, but Linda's father grabbed him by the collar and began pulling him out of the car, throwing him off balance. The football hero put his left foot out to keep his balance. Unfortunately, his leg was broken. He let out a heart-wrenching scream as the weight on his leg caused intense pain. Emma punched him in the head and shoulders. Without looking up, he waved her away like a fly. Unfortunately, his palm hit Emma hard on the cheek, and her small body flew backward with a scream. But luckily, her grandfather caught her. Emma's surprised and frightened scream woke Linda, and she went into mother bear mode. Jumping out of the car, she rushed to her daughter, picked her up, and hugged her. Emma, however, pushed herself away from her grandfather and slapped Linda across the cheek. "You abandoned your father for this worm. Don't come near me, you evil witch." Linda's father handed Emma to Linda, and Bastard bent down to pick up the phone. Then Simon stepped forward and kicked Bastard in the face as he bent down. Bastard's head flew back, and blood and cartilage spurted from his face. "You bastard," Simon growled. "You can't stand up to a real man, so you beat up little girls. What kind of coward are you?" Then he pulled the football player out of the car by his hair. When Bastard stretched his arms out onto the driveway to keep from falling, Linda's father jumped and stepped on his fingers. The bones crunched like rice flakes. The air was torn apart again by a scream of pain. The Bastard swung his good leg to get out of the car and take revenge on his tormentors. Linda's father ripped the door out of the Bastard's hands again and slammed it hard against his good leg. The door didn't seem to break the Bastard's leg, but the blow to his shin made him scream like a slaughtered pig. His phone was still lying on the driveway in better condition than its owner. Blood and guts were pouring from the Jerk's mangled face and covering his expensive everyday clothes. He was holding his broken arms under his armpits. I don't know why. Unable to stand, he crawled back into the seat of his classic Ferrari worth several $1,000,000, still without his phone, which suddenly started playing, we will rock you." Finally, coming out of my shock trance, I crossed the street and picked up the phone, which displayed the name of the Sharks coach. "Yes, coach?" I said. Because of the shouting, I had to hold the phone about a foot away from my ear. "Where the hell are you? You were supposed to be here half an hour ago." "I'm sorry, coach. The girl I spent the night with turned out to be better than I expected. I just dropped her off." Apparently, I wasn't too different from a star tight end, because the coach continued without missing a beat. "Listen, we pay you to be on the field, not in bed with someone else's wife. When can you get here?" There's a problem, I said. I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Well, my left leg is broken, and my car has a manual transmission, so I can't drive. Plus, I think both my arms are broken. I need to go to the hospital. What did you do? I hit a little girl because she wanted to beat me up, and her grandfather beat me up. I tried to make my voice as pitiful and pathetic as possible. What? The coach's scream could be heard throughout the neighborhood. Yes, and it looks like my husband's security system caught everything on camera. In HD and with sound. I need an ambulance. I'll call one. Where are you? I don't know, continued the plaintive, pitiful voice. They won't give me their address. What's your name? I'll find the address. I don't know their names. They won't tell me. I couldn't tell if my broad smile gave me away. This unexpected revenge calmed my anger a little, especially thanks to the plaintive voice of the little boy I was talking to. The jerk was writhing and trying to open the car door with his broken hands or stand up to jump over the door, but he only groaned in pain. Wait. I'll call the police. They'll try to find you on your phone. Great idea, Coach, I said, opened the back cover of the phone, took out the battery, and hid the phone in my pocket. Good luck finding him. Meanwhile, Linda tried to calm Emma down, but the little bear cub wouldn't listen to her. Put me down. Go away. You're a mean cow. You're not my mom. Just go away. She ran to Linda's mother and buried her face in her grandmother's dress. Help me, Grandma. Make these mean people go away. Yeah, I said to Linda. Why don't you get in the car and take your boyfriend away before he hurts your kids anymore? He's not my boyfriend, she wailed. Oh, so you just sleep with the first guy you meet without even making him your boyfriend? Wow. How low have you sunk? A neighbor must have noticed the commotion because a police car pulled up and 2 officers got out. What's going on here? This bastard kidnapped my wife last night, I said, and just brought her back after a night of debauchery. Our little girl was upset, and he hit her for insulting his behavior. Her grandfather tried to protect her, and the criminal tried to beat him up. It ended badly, and now he needs an ambulance. That's a lie, shouted the jerk. I was just bringing this girl home when these 2 guys attacked me. I really need an ambulance because they broke my leg and my fingers. Well, officer, I smiled good-naturedly. The good news is that we have a high-definition video surveillance system and everything was caught on camera and recorded. Would you like a copy? Of course. The ambulance arrived, and while the medics carefully pulled the local hero out of the car, I went into the house and burned a DVD with the video for our city's top officers. As the medics struggled to pull Jerkhead out of his classic car worth several $1,000,000, Emma ran out. The senior medic froze when he saw the wound on Emma's cheek. What happened to you, sweetheart? Emma pointed at Jerkhead. This mean man hit me. He hit me really hard. I just wanted my mom to come back. The other medics heard her. They let go of Jerkhead, and he fell to the pavement, howling in pain and trying to keep from falling on his broken arms. Careful, you fucking idiots, he yelled. I'll get you all fired. Their attitude toward him changed in an instant. They simply grabbed him by his broken arms, despite his cries, forced him to his feet, and pushed him toward the stretcher, so that he had to use his broken leg to keep from falling. Attempts to put him on the stretcher were accompanied by violent shoves that made him whimper like a little girl. They couldn't get him on the stretcher, and he fell back onto the road until the medics finished treating and bandaging Emma's wound. I don't know if it was her feminine genes kicking in, but she didn't stop hurling insults, telling everyone how evil, cruel, and despicable this football player was, how he had hurt her and our whole family. All I could think about was how to get this recording to the local TV station. Take that, hometown hero. Finally, the ambulance drove away with that jerk, and I turned to the front door. Inside, Linda was sitting in a high-backed chair, being bombarded with accusations and questions from both sets of parents, who were so good at lecturing her that I stayed in the kitchen, listening and making more coffee. I don't know where Linda got the idea to sleep with a celebrity, or what nonsense Dee and our other former friends told her, but her parents opened her eyes, and she clearly saw her betrayal. An ungrateful narcissist who had cruelly abandoned her loyal husband and children to have fun with an irresponsible and equally narcissistic womanizer, without a care in the world for those around her. Linda was probably playing the just one night game at first, but by the time I joined the conversation with a cup of freshly brewed coffee, she had turned into a sobbing, whimpering wreck. I had no idea her mother could be so harsh and blunt. "You're nothing but a privileged girl who drags her family, including us, into the filth of her debauchery. Aren't you ashamed? Is that how your father and I raised you? One night? Ha! What's next? Murder is okay if it's just for one night? Where do you draw the line? You think you have the right to a night of fun? With children who aren't even 10 years old? What nonsense! Your father and I raised you to adulthood, and neither of us ever broke our promises. Jim's parents are the same. Where did you get this sense of entitlement? From your friends? Get rid of them. Today. You need to wake up, girl, and wake up fast. What you did is completely and utterly unacceptable. It's evil. Do you understand? Evil. You have no excuse, especially for this one-night stand. So what if that jerk is famous? When you had your children, you made a long-term commitment to make them your top priority. What if Emma had ended up in the hospital last night? No one could reach you. Was that famous guy more important than your children? Damn it, girl, you're crazy. You need a psychiatrist. And you're such an idiot! Did you see how he hit little Emma? She flew through the air. What kind of guy did you choose? And then you took his side against your father. I'm so ashamed to be your sister. After that torrent of venom, Linda couldn't say a word. In the reflection of the window, I saw her slump down, hiding her face in her hands, and sob uncontrollably. I walked into the living room and sat down in the only empty seat next to her father. My mother's tirade must have had an effect on her, because her demeanor and tone changed completely. "Oh, Jim, I'm so sorry," Linda moaned. "Mom's right. I ruined everything and acted like a blind, brainless fan. I can't believe I let him influence me and let Dee talk me into it." She shook her head. "I can't believe I was so stupid." "Was sex worth losing your family?" She was overcome by another wave of sobs. Nothing is worth losing you. I wish I could just forget it all. But I can't. How can I make it up to you? And to Emma? You mean so much more to me than one night with Mark. I know it didn't seem like it last night, but it's true. Will I ever be able to make it up to you?" And she burst into tears again. It was getting harder and harder to be angry with her. Her remorse seemed genuine, but how would she feel tomorrow morning when the sun came up and no one was beating her? And the memories of all that ecstasy? However, Prick's cowardly behavior in the driveway had almost certainly destroyed any notion that he could be a macho man or a hero. "Give me your phone," I said. "What? Why?" "Now is not the time to resist. Give me your damn phone." She stood up, found her purse, and handed me the phone. I turned it on and it unlocked. At least she hadn't set a passcode to hide anything. I looked through her text messages but found nothing from Jerk. Same with her calls, emails, and voicemails. Looking through her contacts, I didn't see anything that looked like his. "Did you exchange phone numbers with him?" She shook her head and said, "No. We broke up." "I'm sorry I don't believe you, but the kiss you gave him on our driveway didn't look like we broke up." "I know, I'm ashamed," she said in a defeated voice. "It was like I was under some kind of spell. Please forgive me. I know it looked sleazy. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say." The room was silent until Linda's mother spoke. "I think you need to take a shower and get dressed. Your father and I are going home. If Jim kicks you out, you can stay with us. I won't say you're welcome, but you're our daughter." Her parents stood up and headed for the front door. Linda reached out to hug them, but they turned away, and her mother pointed to the stairs. My mother stood up and sat down next to me. "Jim, I'm so sorry. Please understand that this isn't your fault. You're a good man, and we're proud of you. Whatever decision you make about your marriage, we'll support you." I was most concerned about our two innocent children. What would be best for them? Without a doubt, banishing this spoiled bitch would hurt them. But I couldn't take her back as if nothing had happened. So I decided we needed to see how serious Linda was about fixing what she had done. The first test of Linda's remorse was whether she would abandon her friends. Eager to prove herself, she did so that same day, and she didn't change her mind. It was a good start, which left the door open. I made copies of the surveillance footage and sent them to the police, the 3 major TV stations, and the only newspaper left in town. The national response was swift and harsh. In less than 2 weeks, Bastard lost all his sponsors and advertising contracts. The team kicked him off the roster. After he was fired, another team offered him a contract with a minimum salary. The minimum salary in the NFL is still several $100,000 a year, but the offer was rejected due to the huge public outcry in the city. The footage of Emma being hit made her famous at school, but like a true soldier, she didn't let it change her. Bastard, on the other hand, got to know prison and its inhabitants. There were no $10 million contracts there, only angry inmates who didn't give a damn about his family jewels or his knees. Linda spent several months in therapy to understand what made her vulnerable to the charms of Martian female admirers. In the end, the horror of Emma's beating made her stop flirting and dancing with other men when we went out, and it made her sign a prenuptial agreement without hesitation. Although the concessions our family lawyer was able to extract from that jerk and his various accomplices, lawyers and fat wallets are a perfect match in court, weren't overly generous, they at least allowed us to move to a different neighborhood, away from Linda's former friends, and make new ones. Best of all, Linda's determination led her to become the Linda we knew before the incident, as we came to call that fateful evening, a loving, fun, and beautiful wife and mother. I was given carte blanche for all her flaws, and we enjoyed a renaissance in the bedroom thanks to her new attitude toward me. She never complained when I didn't buy her gifts, flowers, or chocolate, or take her out to dinner on Valentine's Day. And we ate chili without any consequences. All's well that ends well, even if it took a year or 3.